permission of the chair, I here stand to oppose the motion. Sir, there are two lines in Hindi that बिना सरों के पैर चलते नहीं, बिना सरों के पैर चलते नहीं, बुजुर्गों की समझदारी से बचिए. And I would like to start my debate with the things happening just 10 minutes before in this house. My parents decided to send me in a Hindi medium school because my father had a love with the mother tongue, or he is a nationalist kind of person. And the result is, at this point of time, I am not comfortable in English, and I choose Hindi as a language to express myself. Naturally, on this platform, my parents were wrong if they had sent me in an English medium school. Naturally, such things were out of sight, and I would have been comfortable in speaking English. So from this personal experience, I think, and I strongly think, that parents can't always be right. Well, from starting here, my worthy opponents put up basic points that parents say don't smoke, or parents say early to bed, get early to rise, and all good habits. They want to inculcate good habits in us, or they want to make us good human beings or a good citizen, and thus they are right. Sir, if parents have the willingness to make their child a good citizen, then there is no contradiction over those issues. There is no debate over that, because we all must be having good habits in our life. We must get early in the morning, or we must smoke, etc., etc. The debate starts when contradictions arise, because when you are talking about good habits, there is no alternative idea, or there is no alternative point of view that is right, 100% right. So naturally there is no debate over there. The debate starts, and the question starts, that are parents always right? Only from where when the child has an alternative point of view, or they have alternative ideas in their mind. And various examples have came that when we are selecting our career, when we are selecting our life partners, and etc., then alternative idea, alternative point of view comes, and then the question rises that are parents always right? And then I say that no. If you say that parents are always right, you are not only violating human rights, but it is also very unscientific and unrational in this scientific world, because parents have a point of view, and naturally each and every human being have a prejudice, and nobody can claim that he or she is perfect, whether he may be a parent or anyone. Well, my fellow speakers told that parents are usually right, not always right, and I support that argument that yes, they are usually right, because parents are like our first teacher, first friend, first critic, and they want us to improve, they want our progress. But this doesn't prove that they are always right, because nobody can claim that he is 100% perfect or 100% right. So I would like to conclude that we must have faith in our parents. We must do what they say, but we must have faith, not the blind faith, because we must understand that we are also human beings, or our children is also a human being, and he is also having ideas, and the talent of thinking is nurtured by the parents only. And if he is just behaving like dumb and walking by the notion that parents are always right, then naturally no innovation can take place. Let him suffer, let him innovate, don't impose your experience, and those experiences which are not very relevant in the present scenario, or the scenario that the children is facing. Like I had faced 10 minutes before. So with that, with those all experience and all the examples, and why you forget Einstein and all? Many big achievers in the world have achieved achievement only by contradicting their parents and going by their own way. With that, I rest my case, and I strongly reject the motion that parents are always right. Thank you.
Your attention please. Teams with the code numbers 75, 76, 77, 78 and 79. If they are here, please come outside the room. I repeat, 75, 76, 77, 78 and 79. Thank you. We'll resume. Next team, 37.
Good afternoon to one and all present here. I, Ritika Singh, stand before you to debate on the topic, Parents Are Always Right, and I speak for the motion. It is essential for us all to understand the topic, parents are always right in the right sense. My worthy opponents have cited many reasons to question the proposition. They have variously said that it does not sustain itself on the grounds of rationality, that human fallibility is a universal phenomenon, etc. I would like to state at the outset that these doubts are founded on the misinterpretation of the topic. We have all just heard that to err is human and to forgive is divine. Then how can the humans be always right? It is the rightness of intentionality that is being referred to here in the topic. Parents, they may flounder, they may go wrong, but the intentionality is beyond question. Parents do put restrictions on the children, but it is for their own good. From the time that the children are born until the time our parents are alive, they always want to see us happy, living a healthy and respectable life. Issues like the internet, clothing, relationships, our language, etc. are where parents get concerned, and they have valid reasons to do the same. For instance, the internet. The content available on the internet is at times inappropriate and disturbing for the vulnerable and innocent minds of children and needs filtration. I ask you all, are parents wrong if they want to provide this filtration by monitoring their child's internet usage? Aping the West, it is a well-known fact that the generation this day blindly tends to follow some Western trends and lay emphasis on outer beauty. I ask you all again, are parents wrong if they want their children to understand that it is not our clothing which is the marker of our identity, but our distinctive qualities and personalities that sets us apart in a crowd? Today's youth is besieged by distractions. It is a case of too much too soon, and thus it becomes even more imperative for parents to step in and sound a cautionary note. Parents form the foundation for morality or for their children. We children believe in reflective morality, excess of which may turn a person into a self-centered and individualistic one. One may end up ruining his life in this manner. Living in a world governed by the principle of self-promotion, selflessness is an ideal embodied only by parents. Living in a world where it is sometimes difficult for us to separate our friends from foe, we children can always count on our parents' advice because it is not underpinned by any ulterior motive or hidden agenda. Parents want their children to learn from their past experiences and farsightedness and imbibe those characteristics which would help us become better persons in future. It is perhaps unfashionable in today's day and age to be reverential towards one's parents. But, my dear friends, to hold an unfashionable opinion is not necessarily to hold a wrong one. Thank you.
If parents were always right, history would not have witnessed great freedom fighters like Bhagat Singh, scientific expertise of Albert Einstein, and revolutionaries like Nelson Mandela, who chose to work for the society instead of treading the path shown to them by their parents. Good afternoon to all. I, Nika Gupta, stand here to present my views against the motion. Right. The term right has always been a bone of contention among the members of the society. Dictionary defines the term as a notion or an action which is in conformity with a fact or reason, but most of the time it becomes a misnomer for something which is just convenient. From the tragedy of Romeo and Juliet to the tragedy of present-day honor killing, what might seem right for one sex is appalling for the other. Parents' decision see a proof of such atrocities. Taking into consideration these examples, we can safely establish that parents are not always right. Having said that, I don't want to raise speculations that they are always wrong either. No doubt, they are better experienced than us, know this world better, and always wish our best. But with the changing time, children should be allowed to take their own decisions and suffer or enjoy the consequences. This cycle is called growth. Parents have gone through it and now let their children experience it. Thank you.
At the age of 7, a kid always says, "My daddy is very intelligent, but not as smart and intelligent as my friend's father." At the age of 15, he would always say, "My daddy is not that understanding, not that smart, not that great." A bit of communication gap is over there. But at the age of 40, when he has his own kid, when he has to raise another life, he would say, "My father was very intelligent man. He was there, always there to support me, always trying to show me the correct path, and always taking the right decisions, even in such circumstances that I can't even stand for." Good morning, ladies. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I am Unnati Juneja, going to speak for the topic "Parents are always right." Parents have more experience. Why do they have more experience? Because they have faced the life more than us. They have 25 years of more experience than we do. We cannot take decisions that they took in their times. How this world works is that how our parents tell us. Parents might say that do not marry the person that you love. Why is it so? Not because of any restrictions or because of the society. Parents know how to judge the character of a person, of his family. We not only get married to the person but also to his family. At this time, we should respect our parents and allow him to judge the character of the family. Sometimes they might force you. They must tell you that take up engineering, take up science, do not follow your passion, do not follow photography or writing. It is not because they're against photography or writing or they want you to do anything which is non-practical. They just want you to have a nice living so that not only you can feed yourself but your family as well. How would any of you feel personally if you have a daughter who wants to go out in the night at the age of 14, when she wants to drink or smoke at the age of 14? You know that this city is not very safe. This city is not very safe in the world, not one of the safest cities in the world. So how can you allow your 14-year daughter to go out at night with unknown people and party? And all this love is just told as restrictions. I don't think it's fair. It's not fair on you, not fair with the parents. It's just love and protection, affectionation, their experience that counts, not restrictions. Over here, most of my friends said there's a generation gap. What is a generation gap? Just because they're 25 years elder to you, you think it's a generation gap, they don't understand you? That's not true. It's just that they think 2 steps ahead of you. They know that what do you have to face in life. Therefore, they are there to help you, to guide you, not put restrictions on you. If such things are put as restrictions, I think that would be not crediting their love for you. In conclusion, I would like to say that it's not parents, it is parents' love and affection that matters, not if they're right or wrong. What is right? Right is taking a decision with your full knowledge. If they know that this decision is right for my kid, I think it would be right, just speaking on their experience. Thank you so much.
Good afternoon, everybody. This is Ashish Pathak. I'm here to speak against the topic "Parents are always right." A 17-year-old boy in Ghaziabad runs over 4 of his schoolmates in a car provided to him by his dad. Now, there is a case being built up against his dad since he wasn't supposed to provide a child without a license with a car. Now, if parents are always right, why is the case being built upon him? In US, we have the most powerful democracy on earth, and they have a system called child welfare scheme, where parents who aren't able to take care of the children in a right way are taken away from them in a child welfare society and kept away from the ill effects of their parents. Over here, there is a word where our parents always right. Nobody over here defines what right means. Right and wrong are relative terms. one cannot be defined without the help of the other. What is right cannot be wrong, and what is wrong cannot be right. Only if a murderer knew that killing a person is wrong, he would have never murdered. The very thing wrong with parents is that they think they are always right. They try to force their decisions upon their children, and this is what makes them wrong in the very sense. There is a difference of generation between parents and children. Our parents are from the 20th century and we are from the 21st century. Only if our parents knew how important, how useful an Apple gadget could be, he would have provided one to us too. In 1980s, it was the time of the doctors, engineers and lawyers. So parents into 21st century want us to be lawyers, doctors and engineers so that we are able to live a reputable life. But times have changed, many new trades have emerged and parents are unable to adapt to these changing times. And the result of it is we have bad doctors, bad engineers and bad lawyers. The productivity of an average engineer in India is way low than the productivity of average engineer in US. Haven't any child been abused by the parents? We all read newspapers and there are many cases of child being sexually harassed by their own parents. Father raping his own daughter are the headlines of these days. There are new sexual orientations among us these days. Now, if a parent hates gays and lesbians, the only reason for it would be because he doesn't want his child to be gay or a lesbian. Now, isn't it up to the child to decide what sexual orientation he belongs to? It's a genetical factor that governs the sexual orientation. Parents have no right to decide whether he should be married to a girl or she should be married to a guy. Now, Kha Panchayat have a very great thing going among themselves called honor killing. They kill a child in the name that to prevent the honor of the family. They have done it. Now, to kill a child in the honor of a family, would you call it right? No. We have still polio and child labor and child terrorists among us. Now, if parents are always right, why are these children being employed as laborers, being trained as terrorists? The recent attack which we have been informed about in front of the High Court must have been done by some terrorist or some demented person. Now, such demented personalities are developed because of the wrong upbringing or because the child hasn't been well taken care of. Why do we find newborns in dustbins lying around? Why do we find newborns thrown in front of the orphanages? Is because parents are unable to take the right decision from them. They realize it themselves that they aren't right for their children. That's why they give them away to the orphanages. Thank you. With this, I recommend.
A very pleasant afternoon to everyone present here. I am Mehek and she is my partner Bhavna. I am for the motion and she is against the motion. Are parents always right? A question which often occurs in our mind. I firmly believe they are right. They are mature, responsible, educated citizens and family-oriented people with enormous amount of experience in their life. They may advise correctly to any issues that the younger generation of today fails to find a solution to. The younger generation of today is speedy. Aggression is a major part of our personality. The major driving factor behind our parents' concern and their advising nature is the love for their children. They want the best of both worlds for us. Their opinions and advices are not influenced by materialistic factors. Their guidance is out of sheer love and concern and ingenuity for us. On the other hand, thinking of a child or an adolescent is more or less influenced by the immature, irrational, impractical thinking of his or her peers and friends. Practicality and rationality are two important factors of life, which should be taken into account before reaching a major decision in life. But these two factors are often neglected by them. These two factors often escape the mindset of their generation of today. They have an enormous tendency to think from their hearts without measuring the pros and cons of their decisions. They fail to measure the intensity of the repercussions of their wrong decisions might cause. Conflicts definitely occur. They arise between the parents and the students. But a compensation point can always be reached. But the generation of today is not even ready to accept that. Our parents and elders speak from their experiences of life. They have seen various facets, dimensions and colors of life, which of course we haven't. So definitely they have an upper hand when we talk about experience. They are much more practical, rational and thoughtful when it comes to decision making. They decide peacefully, practically, thoughtfully and rationally. They evaluate all their options before reaching to any sort of a conclusion. They dutifully measure the repercussions of all their actions. One wrongdoing by us in our present day will leave an everlasting effect on our future, which may or may not heal, we may be or may not be able to overcome that. The sole reason why our parents provide us with the point of views and opinions is because they don't want us to mess up with our future and lives. Taking our parents' guidance and opinions in our mind will help us taking a measured and calculated decision and will definitely bring out the best in us. Generation gap does exist. Situations are definitely different from what they used to be, but a compensation point can always be reached. So friends, I would like to conclude by saying we should keep into account our parents' experience, their views and their opinions, and utilize their experience to the optimum. Thank you.
They say for us, we immortals, we the human beings. And so our human beings, which cause our very existence, our very being here in this world and now on this platform also, these human beings are our parents. That's why the painter knows where the painting needs correction or which color goes well with certain stroke of his brush. But remember, the picture changes when the painting starts feeling alive. And that's what happened with our parents. Parents create us biologically. They are connected with us emotionally. And for sure, they own us socially. But they forget our own very existence practically. My worthy opponents were and are establishing the godly side of the parents as the most perfect and flawless side of these humans. And I am not demeaning their faith in parents. Parents are right, my friends. But it's just that my thought process requires to seek out for a different route. When we say always right attitude is here, then let me tell you all, there is no one who is always right, and so are parents. Our country is where most idealistic lives are of those humans who came to this earth to give our lives better meaning, that is God. And Lord Ram is the best example when it comes to virtues. But this question has always been there, that being a son, if he was denied justice by his father by giving 14 years of his life to fulfill his promise. Further, Ram himself, because of social pressure and further establishing his virtues, kept his son Love Kush deprived of fatherly love and their mother away from long. Of course, we do know the divinal reasons and consequences and worship Lord's Leelas. But, as a father, can't the Lord be questioned? So why not parents in today's times? And believe me, when we see the deformed state of parenting, it actually makes us think a lot. Firstly, let's talk about the clash of identities. Many times in close-knit families, parents don't allow their child to grow beyond their definition of life. They will forget that birds like sparrows let their babies to fly when they are capable of themselves. Secondly, there are some parents who want to fulfill their dreams and unfulfilled ambitions without realizing their child's mental and physical abilities. They want to load their child's mind with the stuff they are not capable to keep. Many cases have been seen where gradually child loses self-confidence because he is made to believe that he is not worthy enough if he fails to fulfill his parents' ambition. They force their ideas and thoughts without even realizing that they might not be relevant in today's time. These days, we are seeing this madness of reality shows. Earlier, when it all started, it was thought that they provide platform for super talented and gifted children. But now we all know how passionate all parents have become to see their kid enjoying their share of limelight. But even it could be accepted if it would be just enjoying the platform. It becomes a disease when it goes beyond this. Many times, parents push their children to perform better and better. Please note, it's not encouragement, it's pushing. At times, this pressure is so high that when the children get negative remarks on their performance, they are afraid to face even their parents. At times, allurement of big prizes is the reason behind this pushing that ultimately forces children grow before their age, and it's mostly done by parents. We cannot forget the case of Srinjini Sen Gupta, who suffered paralytical attacks because she was being scolded by the judge. The question comes in, 15-year-old Srinjini must have been overloaded already with unbearable expectations from her family and friends too. And she could never get that could save her. In this case, psychoanalysis finds one reason: communication gap and wrong set of expectations. When we all come out of our childhood, there are different ways where shadows of either parents, misguidance, or too much interference kill the future. In India, the concept of joint family is still very popular, and it should be as it strengthens the bond. But don't you know how many dowry cases have been seen due to greedy in-laws and worse is greedy parents pulling their son into misdeeds? Today, a boy is brainwashed by his family to the extent that the girl he married with all the famous promises holds no more significance. And often we overlook death falls in the name of honor killing. Can you please tell me whose honor is this? Two lives were murdered brutally and father posting his honor on TV cameras? We all know there are marks very well. That being right always is something no one can ever afford. And parents aren't taken as first schools of life. So the biggest question is, can we generalize this greatness and give an impractical and unbelievable statement of parents being always right? I mean, aren't we sounding too extremist when we say that? And the debate.
We all have a round of applause for her. Thank you so much.
Now I would like to invite court number 30, Atul Goswami and Vaishali Anand.